Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Maggie. I am a new booktuber, hence the tag. I saw this going around and I figured I should jump on the bandwagon so you guys, I guess, can get to know me, get to know about my channel, things like that. It feels really weird doing this one-sided. It feels a lot like when you just come back to school at the beginning of the year and you're standing up in front of class and you're telling people about yourself or about your summer. Kind of feels a lot like that, except I'm doing it by myself, so it's weird. So I don't know, if you want to tell me about yourself down below, that'd be cool too. Wouldn't make it as bad, I guess. But anyways, I'm doing the Booktube Newbie Tag, which has 10 to 11 questions, and it gives you an idea about who I am and what I want to do. So I'll stop jib-jabbing and we'll just get into it, okay? Cool. Question number 1, why did you start this channel? So this is going to sound kind of weird, but I started this channel because up until kind of recently, I never really realized how big of a community there was of younger people enjoying historical romance novels. I always thought I was a bit of a grandma, honestly, but I don't have anybody to talk to about these books. Like literally no one. I don't know anybody else who's into it. I usually get made fun of it. So, you know, I just want to talk to someone. I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk about my books. Honestly, just even talking about them out loud is nice. So that's a big reason why I started the channel. I want to do a booktube channel where I can talk about my books and I can make friends, hopefully, and make connections and just, you know, have a good time. We can talk about the craziness that goes on in historical romances and honestly just romances in general. But yeah. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Okay, so I think I actually have a couple answers for this. Number 1, I think everyone obviously has their own personality, and that's going to be one of their biggest strengths on BookTube. For me, if you can't tell, I'm not the quiet, more relaxed booktuber. I'm a little bit more, I don't know, I laugh a lot. I'm pretty brash. I'll just tell you like it is. I'm gonna be straight with you, you know? And everything's on the table for me. I'm not gonna feel awkward about talking about anything in romance books. So I think that can definitely be something unique that I bring to the table. It's just, I guess, myself, which just sounds so lame saying that. But the other thing is I kind of want to actually mix in my creative side with this, like making essentially little trinket boxes, like painting on them, almost like the historical romance, like vintage art covers. Because I have this weird obsession with bookmarks and I want them to match what the book cover looks like, so I make bookmarks. There's that too. I want to sew outfits based off of the covers of my books where they have like the cool corsets and the nice flowy tops and all that, and do paintings and maybe do like a cheesy sculpture of Fabio so he can go on my shrine back there, which you can't really see, but you know, be goofy, make stuff, but it all be associated with books, and particularly romance books, because that's my thing. But yeah, I feel like that's the other thing I can bring. It's not just going to be like book recommendations, book reviews, and whatnot. I want to kind of bring in some creative projects as well. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? So I think this answer is going to be kind of repetitive. I think everyone's basically going to say the same thing, but honestly, the thing that's most exciting is the community. You know, being a part of a community that isn't making fun of you for what you're doing, which I'm sure that's going to happen in the comments. You'll have trolls and whatnot, but that's okay. But being able to actually talk to people who enjoy the same stuff that you do and actually just having a conversation with somebody about these books, because I haven't had that. Like I told you, I've just always been made fun of for reading these books. But yeah, the community, I'm very excited about the community. Plus, I'm like, oh really, like this is, I guess, kind of a sad note. It feels cheesy McCheeserson, but I'm originally a Californian. I'm from California and I now live in Massachusetts, and I have my husband's family out here, but I don't have anybody out here. I don't have any like friends of my own, I guess you can say. I just have like my family friends, which are amazing. But it would just be nice to have some friends. Sounds so sad. It's hard to make friends when you're an adult. I don't know why, but it is, man. It really is. But yeah, Community. Community is definitely the number one answer. My second answer would also be finishing projects, like the creative projects I was just telling you about, because I am an Aries, so I have a tendency to be very excited and want to start a project, but then I don't finish it because I get excited about the next thing. So it can be a bit of a problem for me. YouTube will have to require me to actually finish the project in order to make a video, so I'm excited about that too. All right, carrying on. Number 4, why do you love reading? Well, I mean, reading is just it's relaxing, right? So it's just an opportunity to kind of get away from the world, especially with the stuff that I read. I read romance. So the requirement in romance is that it always has a happy ending. So I think that helps a lot. But yeah, just being able to relax and jump into a different world or jump into a different time is amazing. And then also because I do have a creative brain, it a lot of times will spark things in my own mind, whether it be stories I want to write, or maybe I want to paint something, or I see the cover and I'm like, oh God, I want that corset, or whatever it might be. So yeah. Number 5, what book or series got you into reading? So I used to actually hate reading as a kid, but a series of unfortunate events is really where it started because it was kind of creepy and it was kind of dark. And then it moved on to Twilight. And then after that, my grandma, I was just over at her house one day, and she literally just had bookcases upon bookcases of romance novels. And I happened to pick up a historical romance novel, and the rest is just freaking history, man. My grandma was my crack dealer, I guess, because I'm obsessed. All right, moving on. Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? Honestly, I could use the opportunity to ask them for tips and tricks on starting a booktube, but I'm more interested, like I said, I want the community, I want the friends. I want to just sit down, have a coffee, let's be honest with each other, tell me your favorite author, tell me your favorite book, what type of man do you really go after in your romance novels, what's your sort of guilty pleasure when it comes to reading. Things like that, what's the cheesiest line that you've ever read, or the thing that made you cringe the most? I'd be really interested in that because romance is an interesting genre for sure. But yeah, those are the questions I'd want to know. I want to kind of just sit down and have a coffee. I'd love to do that with you guys. I want a conversation. I just want to make some friends and chat. Sounds like a good time. All right, moving on. Number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Editing, man. Editing. Number 8, when did you start reading? Well, I mean, I started reading when I was younger, obviously, but I didn't start really enjoying reading. I mean, I enjoyed Twilight, I enjoyed A Series of Unfortunate Events, but historical romance, like I said, was literally my freaking crack. I loved that. And that was really high school. High school's where it took off, which was funny because, as you guys know, romance novels a lot of times have super cheesy covers. And in high school, I was so embarrassed. I wanted to read it so bad. So when we'd have our reading time or whatever in language arts, I would slowly try to pull my book out and cover both the front and the back, depending on what book it was. But yeah, high school. Number 9. Where do you read? So for me, I actually read most of the time in the bath. I take a bath almost every day at the end of the day. I love hot water. It's literally one of my favorite things in the freaking world besides naps. And I love to be in the bathtub and it's super hot. I like to have ice cold iced tea next to me and reading a historical romance book or some form of a romance book, except contemporary. I don't like contemporary. But reading some form of a romance book. That is just the perfect night to me. I do also actually, this chair that you see, I'll put it in its little corner in a sec, but I read here, my office. I finally decorated it to how I really want. So it's nice to be in here. And then sometimes I'll just be curled up in the corner of the couch with a nice comfy blanket, getting super comfy cozy and reading a book for hours on end when I have the time. But yeah, that's what I like to do. Number 10, what kind of books do you like to read? Honestly, I feel like you could probably answer this for me at this point because I keep mentioning it, but historical romance, that is my hands down favorite. I am starting to try to get into more romance fantasy sort of stuff, kind of dabbling in there. I really love books. This is going to sound weird and I haven't really found any, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know. But I kind of like the mix of romance and horror. Like, I'm into gore. I don't know what it is, but I'm into gore. I've always been like that since I was like 3. I literally watched Freddy Krueger when I was 3 from behind the couch with my family not knowing. I literally snuck out of my bed and they found me because I was laughing. So I don't know what that says. I feel like I'm going to be on an episode of Snapped in the future, but I like gory stuff and I want to add some romance to that. That does sound really weird, but yeah. Moving on. Lastly, what does your book collection look like? So as you can tell from behind me, this is basically my vintage romance collection, my historical romance collection. It's just all artwork that I really, really love. I haven't read all those, just to be clear. And then I have another bookcase over here, and I have kind of like this little cubby built into our walls that has a bunch of books. Yeah, that's kind of what my bookshelves look like. I don't have as many as other people I've seen on BookTube. That seems to be a very common theme. Everybody has tons upon tons of books. I don't. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys get an idea of who I am and you like me, I guess. But otherwise, I will catch you guys next week. And you guys have a good one. Bye. You are probably new. Why am I like this? Cool. That's cool. That's fine. Why do intros just intros?